Good morning. My name is Jeffrey K. Aloha Ryan, and I'm one of the ministerial interns here at the center, and it is my honor and my pleasure to welcome you all, so many of you, and it's so wonderful to see you, to welcome all of you here to Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas, where, as Judy mentioned earlier, it is a perfect day in paradise, because we are here in Paradise, Nevada. And what we know is that the truth of your being is the truth of each one of us is that we are here for love. That we are the divine made manifest, that we are the divine incarnate, that we are love incarnate. That the who of who we are and the who of who each one is on this planet is love. And that's the ultimate truth. And so this morning we have a very special service for you. You notice that Reverend Doug is down there and I'm up here. Because this Sunday is one of our many practitioner Sundays. It's one of our 4 practitioner Sundays. And so together with Bobby and Judy and Kelly and Ed, I have the opportunity of presenting this service this morning. So welcome. We are so glad that you are here. So I'd like for you to take a journey with me now, if you would. Oh yeah, that works too. Thanks, Joe. Flash it for me. Our topic is open, receptive, and welcoming, and that is the theme for today. And what we've been working with for the entire month is forgiveness and loving kindness. And that is yet a subset of our global vision, which is a world that works for everyone and all of creation. And you can pick up that global vision, the full text of it, in our lobby. We have little cards that have the entire global vision there, but that's what it's brought down to. And so this morning what we're sharing with you is we're sharing with you the idea of open, welcoming, open, receptive, and welcoming. And where this comes from, it comes from part of the global vision where it says that we see our communities as being open, receptive, and welcoming to all people, to all faiths, and to all paths to God. And so what I'd like for us to do now is I'd like for us to go on a little journey. A journey back in time. You didn't know you were going to time travel this morning, did you? But what I'd like for you to do now is just take a moment and just close your eyes for a moment and just think back to the very first time that you walked into a Center for Spiritual Living. Perhaps it's this Center for Spiritual Living. And perhaps this is the day that you have first walked into a Center for Spiritual Living. And that's wonderful, and please play along with us. So go back in time and think back to that first time that you stepped foot into Center for Spiritual Living, whether it be Center for Spiritual Living Greater Las Vegas or any other Center for Spiritual Living worldwide. There's 450 communities that you might have stepped into. Think back to that time. What did you feel that morning or that afternoon or that evening? What did you feel? What did you experience? What did you see or hear that made you come back? What was that feeling? Perhaps it was the music. Perhaps it was the message. Perhaps it was a warm smile from somebody greeting you at the door, or a warm hug. What was it that you experienced that day that brought you back? And perhaps you came back because your husband or your wife drugged you back, but what is it that brought you back? Feel that feeling. Feel it, remember it, cherish it. And so I invite you to bring that feeling, that enthusiasm, that love, that joy, that warmth into this room now. And I invite you back to July 31st, 2016. So what is it that you felt? What was it? Home. Joy. connection, love, hope, laughter, inclusiveness. I found it. It's welcoming, family, acceptance, relief, challenged, good one. Great band, absolutely. Odyssey rocks. Breath of fresh air. Teachings. Friends, listening. Thank you. Opportunity. Excellent. No sin. Perfect. Okay, you guys have done my talk. Thank you. Right? It's a sense of openness, right? It's a sense of openness, whether it be open eyes, an open heart, or an open mind. That's really what we encountered when we walked through those doors, was a sense of openness. Just like in the song, these doors are open for you. These doors are open to you. Doesn't matter whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, or Jew. It doesn't matter. The door is open. And it's always open. And so perhaps it was that open heart, that love, and that joy. Perhaps it was the open eyes and the open mind that saw you for the very first time, for the truth of who you really are, for the truth of your being, recognizing you as an individualized expression of the one life that is all life, recognizing you as the perfect divine expression of love that you are. Maybe that's what you saw. Maybe that's what you experienced. And when we think about open, being open, our philosophy is open at the top. And what does that mean? It means that our philosophy, our way of life, is forever evolving. It's forever moving forward and rising higher. That we're not stuck in some old dogma of 2,000 years ago, or 5,000 years ago, or 100 years ago, or even yesterday. That we continue to move forward in our divine unfoldment of spirit, because each one of us is an individualization of the one life. And so our founder, Ernest Holmes, in the Declaration of Principles, written back in 1927 and published in the Science of Mind magazine, one of them that he shared is that we believe that the revelation of truth can happen through each and every individual who is in alignment with the indwelling presence. That anyone can become a revealer of truth. That we reveal truth through our own intuition and through our own spiritual unfoldment, our own spiritual development. So this faith, this philosophy, while we stand steeped in principle, while we stand steeped in the principle of ages and of all the world's religions and all the world's traditions, it's uniquely our own because we are synthesized. Ernest Holmes was a great synthesizer, and I'll share more with you about that in a moment. So whatever you may have heard that day may have resonated because there's truth to it. There is an underlying truth to all of it. And each of us is a revealer of that truth. To the degree that we live in truth, to the degree that we recognize and listen to the indwelling Spirit. Which brings us to the second point there. Receptive. An open mind and an open fist and an open hand are what's required to receive anything. If the mind is closed, if the fist is closed, how can I receive anything? If I have a closed fist, if my hands are closed, I can't possibly receive. I have to open them. And the same with my mind. If my mind is closed, I can't possibly take in new ideas, new opportunities. I can't possibly receive blessings if I'm not aware of them or if I'm unwilling to see them. So this receptive piece, it talks about the willingness to be open to new ideas, to new thoughts. We call this philosophy new thought, ancient wisdom, because there is ancient wisdom that's being brought forth in a whole new way if we're but open and receptive to hear it, to see it, willing to look at it, willing to explore, willing, as Fran said, to be challenged by it, willing to engage with it, willing to engage with each other and what each other has to offer. And so we have this way of looking at the world from a positive point of view. We take it from a positive point of view. We do see the appearances that are out there, but we're willing to see through those appearances and see the positive behind it. Because truly behind it, love is behind it. And so we always have the opportunity to look out into the world and to see the mundane, to see what's going on, but we also have the opportunity to look forward, look through, and look past that, and to see the deeper truth in that. But we must be willing to do that, and we must be willing to engage. So we're open and we're receptive. We're receptive to new ideas. We're receptive to new ways of thinking. We're receptive to new perspectives. And we take them in and we weigh them and we explore. We're receptive to being explored. We're willing to explore. We explore them within our own hearts and we explore them within our own lives. We try them out. See if they work for us. Hey, that works. That, maybe not yet. But this works over here, so I'm going to go over here. I'm going to work with this and see what's here for me and understand and learn and go deeper together. And we're receptive to the call of Spirit. We're receptive to that still small voice that dwells within, that moves and guides us. As a community, we're receptive to that. We're receptive to the divine impress of Spirit in our lives, individually and together as a community. And so this coming Sunday, a week from today, we have the opportunity to go together, to go into visioning together, to vision for this community, to create an open, willing, and receptive vessel through which we can learn more and understand more about what Spirit has in store for this community. The highest idea for this community and for ourselves. And so that's what this coming Sunday is about, that with the workshop with the Vision Corps, the community visioning. It's an opportunity to open up and be receptive. Be receptive to Spirit and then listen, open, willing. And then if direction is called for, then we are open and willing to take the direction, to go in the direction, to follow Spirit, to allow Spirit to lead. And we're willing to engage when Spirit calls forth. We're willing to say yes. We're willing to step forward and to engage with one another for a deeper understanding, not only of ourselves, but of each other, but of life, but of love, but of God, but of the divine. And we're willing to do that. And this coming Tuesday, we have another opportunity to do that. On Tuesday evening from 6 to 8, I'm hosting in the prayer room another open dialogue of what is ours to do. It's an open dialogue around community, systemic racism, and white privilege. And so if that is something that calls to you, if you're willing to be challenged, if you're willing to open to a brighter idea or a higher idea and go within for a deeper understanding and allow love to come forth and allow love to lead, then I invite you to that opportunity on Tuesday. And we have a ton of classes coming up too. Ton of classes coming up, starting in September. We have Radical Forgiveness, taught by Sharon Nelson. We have Power of Your Word. Radical Forgiveness talks about forgiveness. It's radically forgiving. It's a powerful way of shifting your life. We have Power of Your Word, which I'll be facilitating. It's an opportunity to learn about prayer as we teach prayer here, as we do prayer here. But it's easy and accessible for everyone. This is not a class that if you're wanting to become a practitioner, that this is the class to take to become a practitioner. This is a class for everyone to take. if you just want to learn how to pray a little bit better or a little bit more effectively, if you just want to learn how to shift some things in your life, this is a class for you. To be able to take prayer, to go deeper into prayer. Beyond Limits, offered by Reverend Doug, is an opportunity to really steep yourselves in the principles of this philosophy and to learn spiritual tools that change your life. And then we also have Spiritual Economics, offered by Judy Poteet. Judy over here. Spiritual Economics, which teaches the economic principles and the way Spirit works through our finances. But not all these classes not only have spiritual tools and spiritual practices, but they also have practical application practices for everyday life. In addition to those, we have our youth and family upstairs. We have our youth group upstairs, where the kids are learning this too. Where the kids are learning the principles of love and who they really are. And we have a conscious parenting class that's happening as well. So we have practical tools and spiritual tools. And you know what? They're affordable. They're absolutely affordable. They're only $20 a week. And for some folks in our community, $20 a week may truly be a stretch for them. And for you, we have opportunities for scholarships. We have opportunities for you to participate in the center in a different way, and so that you can still take class. And for the rest of you, $20 a week. That's a few lattes, that's a few times eating out. Where there's a willingness, there is a way. There's a way to take classes. And I can guarantee you that 3 hours on a Tuesday night or 3 hours on a Thursday night for 8 to 10 weeks, or 4 to 8 to 10 weeks, depending on which the class is, you're going to reap far more gratification, satisfaction, change in your life than a few lattes or a few trips over to payments. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. So consider taking classes. Consider the opportunities that are here and available. Be receptive. Be open to new knowledge, to expansion, because it is through all of this that we find empowered living now. That which we share as part of our tagline there, Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas, empowered living now. And it comes through our receptivity. It comes through our willingness. And welcoming, absolutely. So Ernest Holmes, one of the reasons why you might have felt an affinity when you first walked through the door, as I mentioned, Ernest Holmes really studied all of the world's major religions and faith traditions, as well as science, as well as psychology, as well as philosophy. And he looked for the through line. He looked for the thread, the golden thread of truth through all of them. And so he picked up pieces and borrowed pieces from each one and saw what resonated with him and what resonated as truth. And he brought it together in this thing that we call science of mind or religious science. So from Hinduism, we get the idea of God as all there is. We get the idea of namaste, that the God in me recognizes the God in you and honors the God in you. We get the immanence of God, meaning the God is everywhere present all the time. This idea comes to us primarily through Hinduism. From Buddhism, we get the law of karma, the law of cause and effect. We also get nirvana in the sense of, also from our Declaration of Principles, we believe in the complete emancipation of all, and that everyone, of all discord of any kind, and that everyone can achieve this goal. That is the ultimate goal of life, and that everyone can achieve it. That also comes from the idea of Buddhism. From Judaism, we get first cause, the creator. From Islam, we also see that God is greater, Allah Akbar. Similar to God is all there is, that God is more than just what we see, what we feel. It's more than just this physical plane. It's more than just the immanent God. It is also the transcendent God. And so then we get the idea of panentheism, the God in and out, both. The highest God and the innermost God are one and the same God. From Hermeticism, which started in Egypt, we have the idea of as above, so below. The law of correspondences, the law of mental equivalence. Of that there is a spiritual prototype for anything that we see here in the physical universe, there is a spiritual prototype that precedes it. From science, we see evolution. And from quantum physics within science, we have a merging of downward causation known as involution, which is spirit moving into form. And then we have the idea of evolution, which is form advancing, or form moving into spirit, upward causation. It's quantum physics. So no matter what your background, what your original belief system, likely when you came in, you heard something pretty familiar. At least a touch familiar. And isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? This one man was able to synthesize all of this and bring it forth in such a way that we can learn it, understand it, and live by it. And that it resonates as the truth. And from Christianity comes the idea of love. That love is all there is. That the truth of who we are is love. Love incarnate. That each one of us is that presence and that power that is back of all, and it's love. And this is something that we are called to remember even more today than yesterday. We are here to be the presence of love. That is who we are. That is who you are. That is who I am. That is who everyone is love. And we're called to remember that. And what a beautiful thing when we can sit with a beloved in front of us and see the presence of love reflected back. Love. So as there is a lot of fear in the social media or fear in the media itself that we've witnessed over the past couple weeks especially, I call you to remember that love is the truth of who you are. That hate does not cast out hate. Love does that. And that love always triumphs. And so we are a welcoming community. We welcome all people, all faiths, all paths to God. Remember when you first came here, the feeling of joy, the feeling of lightness, the feeling of love that you experienced. It's present. It's palpable. We can live this every day when we focus our attention on conscious union with God. It's possible. And living from this place of love, the vision that we hold, that our denomination holds, a world that works for everyone, is possible. It's possible. And so to our LGBT sisters and brothers, we say welcome. Here you will find a place where there is no sin. We do not believe in sin. Sin is merely an error in thinking. And you are not a sinner. You are not going to burn in hell. There is no hell for you to burn in. There's only love here. And so we welcome you with open arms. To our beloveds of color, our sisters and brothers of color, we affirm your dignity and your beauty and your power. And we recognize it, and we honor it, and we celebrate it. And we celebrate diversity in this community because we know that the unity expresses itself in diversity, and diversity expresses itself in unity. And so to our sisters and brothers of color, we say, we welcome you. Welcome. To our differently abled beloveds, we see and recognize the beauty and strength and power in you. We see the truth of who you are. We see you for all of your abilities. To our beloveds who are recovering from addiction, we say to you, welcome. We welcome you. We see you as whole, perfect, and complete. We see the truth revealed in the who of who you are. To our families with small children, we say welcome. We see you. We have wonderful opportunities to support you and your growth and the growth of your children. Here you will only hear a message of love. You will only hear a message of empowerment. You will only hear a message of hope. And we know this for your kids as well. That's what they're going to learn. To be strong in their individuality. To be strong in who they are. To stand in their power. And to our millennials, our 20s and 30-somethings, we share your idealism. We share your idealism. And we're willing to take action as a community in spiritual activism. And so to our millennials, we say welcome. Welcome. And to everybody else, we say welcome. To our multi-faith families who are looking for a place to worship on Sundays or worship during the week, but it's hard to go. Do I go to mosque? Do I go to temple? Do I go to church? Where do I go? Where do we go? And we say welcome. You are home here. Because truly there is only one. And so we say welcome. So join me in saying, welcome. Again, welcome. One more time. Welcome. And so it is. Namaste, shalom, salam, ashe, aho.